and I think that should fix it. There we go. That is fixing. Okay. Sorry about that. Fuck it. We're just going to roll with it. We really fucked that. Oh, my God. Good afternoon from the Shell Shock HQ here in Richardson, Texas. We appreciate your love and support. Sorry about that. I forgot to upload a certain thing to where the audio is actually working. That's my bad, y'all. But thank you for spending your Wednesday here with us at the Shell Shock HQ. It's a rainy day out here in Richardson, Texas, a.k.a. Dallas, Texas area. Nice weather, but it's like a brisk 60-something degrees out there with that rain just flooding down on the outside. But again, thank you for spending your afternoon with us. We apologize we didn't get the show started sooner today. We try and get it going around 11 o'clock CST every morning, but we were all over the place today. We have the new opening of the store in downtown Dallas coming very soon, so we're getting things together on that. We have some new products heading your way from Shell Shock CBD. We have some vitamins we're looking into doing, some gummies, other things such as that, but we want to say thank you for supporting us, and we're doing something new now. If you're not on Twitch, we appreciate all of our family and supporters of the Savage group out there on Twitch, and it's free. But for those that do subscribe, we're going to start doing a show giveaway to where we have these tankards. You remember Tipsy's Woodworking with the bottle openers built into the bottom. Food safe. You can put actually hot and cold beverages in there. We're going to start giving them away to a lucky subscriber. One lucky subscriber on Twitch, I think maybe once every show. I don't know. We'll have to see. And we're going to start today. We're going to do it today. If you're a subscriber on Twitch that supports the show, that's going to go directly into the Shell Shock CBD bank account. I'm not taking that. This is all going into Shell Shock, so that way you know that you're actually going to support a veteran business. You're supporting our employees, and I really appreciate that. I sincerely thank you for that, because I'd rather see all money that I can make personally funneled into this business, this company, and us expand and grow. So maybe you can't take CBD products for whatever reason. You still want to support the show. Well, you can go subscribe on Twitch, and that's another way of doing it. So we're testing out new things. That's entrepreneurship. We're going to test and see what works. So if it works, there you go. So if you're a Prime sub, a regular sub, there you go. I mean, you're entered to giveaway, and we're going to do that today on the show. So again, it's over on Twitch. You can go to twitch.tv/thejohnburke or download the Twitch app. It is free, and we really appreciate it. And just follow me at thejohnburke. So, all right. With that being said, let's get started into this day in history, because I know y'all are just itching, ready to go to get into this, because there's just so much to do and so much to see. All right. Here we go. This day in history, archaeologists open tomb of King Tut. On February 16th of 1923 in Thebes, Egypt, English archaeologist Howard Carter enters the sealed burial chamber of the ancient Egyptian ruler, King Tutankhamun. Because the ancient Egyptians saw their pharaohs as gods, they carefully preserved their bodies after death, burying them in elaborate tombs containing rich treasures to accompany the rulers in the afterlife. In the 19th century, archaeologists from all over the world flocked to Egypt, where they uncovered a number of these tombs. Many had long ago been broken into by robbers and stripped of their riches. When Carter arrived in Egypt in 1891, he became convinced that there was at least one undiscovered tomb, that of the little-known Tutankhamun, or King Tut, who lived around 1400 BC and died when he was still a teenager. Backed by a rich Brit, Lord Carnarvon, Carter searched for 5 years without success. In early 2022, Lord Carnarvon wanted to call off the search, but Carter convinced him to hold on one more year. In November of 1922, the wait paid off. When Carter's team found steps hidden in the debris near the entrance of another tomb, the steps led to an ancient sealed doorway bearing the name Tutankhamun. When Carter and Lord Carnarvon entered the tomb's interior chambers on November 26, they were thrilled to find it virtually intact, with its treasures untouched after more than 3,000 years. The men began exploring the 4 rooms of the tomb, and on February 16th of 1923, under the watchful eyes of a number of important officials, Carter opened the door to the last chamber. Inside lay the sarcophagus with 3 coffins nested inside one another. The last coffin, made of solid gold, contained the mummified body of King Tut. Among the riches found in the tomb, golden shrines, jewelry, statues, a chariot, weapons, clothing. The perfectly preserved mummy was the most valuable, as it was the first one ever to be discovered. Despite rumors that a curse would befall anyone who disturbed the tomb, its treasures were carefully cataloged, removed, and included in the famous traveling exhibit called The Treasures of Tutankhamun. The exhibition's permanent home is the Egyptian Museum in Cairo. And that is this day in history.
Oh, such wonderful history.
Absolutely. I kind of like that. That's like a good news thing. I like that. And then that's also how we got the movies The Mummy. So
That wasn't Geraldo who went in there, was it?
Wait, no, what?
That wasn't Geraldo that went in there, was it?
I'm missing what you're saying.
Didn't Geraldo Rivera
go into the tomb?
Yeah.
I have no idea. Did he?
I don't know. I thought he did. Maybe I'm wrong. I could be wrong.
I don't know. I don't know. Oh, well, but anyway, that covers this day in history. So appreciate you tuning in today, and let's go ahead and get into it. I'm scrolling on Twitter today, and I see a friend do a retweet of Charlie Kirk. Now, look, for those of you that have followed me for a while now, I am not a fan of Turning Point. I think Turning Point are essentially just theocrats guised as constitutionalists, but they're really not. And Kirk made a statement today, and I don't follow him. I don't really engage in his content. I don't want anything to do with them. I think they're grifters and Trump loyalists. But Kirk said something that was very, I think, hopefully eye-opening to a lot of people out there. And I actually started looking at his Twitter feed, and he's saying a lot of things. And I'm just like, this isn't shocking. I'm glad he's finally saying this, because this is something I've known about him and Turning Point for a very long time now.
He still has a Twitter account?
Apparently.
Jeez, man.
This was tweeted out on February 11th. And when I read this for you, to the listener, before you emotionally react, give me a second to explain the overall point that I am trying to make here. Kirk tweeted out, and I quote, "Satan conferences should not be protected by the First Amendment. Satan worship is not what the founders had in mind when they referenced the fruits of liberty." Now, this tweet I emphatically disagree with. Remove Satan conferences and substitute it with Muslim conferences, Jewish conferences, Christian conferences. The First Amendment, in my opinion, protects the very foundation of free speech and religion that should be applied to every single American that lives in this great country. Now, do I agree with Satanism? Of course I do not. I don't believe in worshiping the devil. I worship God, my God. But I also believe that the Constitution is what allows every single person in this nation to worship as they see fit. I find it to be very hypocritical of Kirk here to say that if it's rooted in Satanism, that's not what our forefathers meant. Well, it doesn't make sense when you look at the First Amendment. It doesn't make sense when you apply that to the creation of America, the Puritans that came over. It doesn't make sense to apply that type of logic by saying this isn't what the forefathers meant. Oh, I indeed think it is what they meant, because some of our forefathers, or you had Thomas Paine, who was a very influential figure back then, was an atheist. It doesn't make sense for a revolution to occur to birth a new nation that wanted freedom from religious persecution in which it was founded upon, and then the freedom to have representation in parliament. It doesn't make sense for them to turn around and then say, oh, you have the freedom of religion, but only the religion that we deem to be fit. Hence why there was a separation of the Church of England. That's why Thomas Jefferson said that there should be a separation of church and state in the letter. It was a Tripoli thing he talked about. Because I've talked about this on previous shows, that back then, there was a dominant religion, which was the Church of England. Then other sects were springing up, other forms of Christianity. But everything the government did favored the Church of England. It didn't make sense to have that. The government and the religious sects of America, religious side of America, should have nothing in common. You should remove church and state completely. The government should not favor any singular religion. And I find it to be very hypocritical how any Christian that can sit there and stand there and say, no, this is how it should be. We should be a Christian nation. You only say that because you're in control right now. But what you don't seem to understand is by taking the stance of government and religion being separate, it protects all religions to include Christianity. I've explained this numerous times. People still don't get it. Instead, they're going to say, well, oh, so you're defending Satanism. No, I'm defending freedom of religion in general, not a specific one, in general. That's what the First Amendment is applied towards. Kirk and them don't seem to understand this. This is why I find this very, honestly, it doesn't surprise me. This is how a lot of these boomer, theocrat guys, these constitutionalist Republicans are. This makes us look bad. I don't agree with this. But I also don't agree with Satanism. But I think the rule of law there is just basically, I'm just not going to go worship Satan. It's worked so far. But then people take it and they use the fringe argument of, well, what about those that are calling for pedophilia and the murder of people? Well, common law rules that illegal. You're also using fringe examples to define a whole. You could do the same thing with Muslims. You could do the same things with Jews and Christians. That's very lazy thinking that people are trying to use every excuse. And I understand where they're coming from. Their religion, their religious convictions guide their outlook, and I understand that. But they need to also understand that it's the freedom of religion for every single person out there, and you cannot let your religion cloud your judgment when it comes to the Constitution. The Constitution protects all religions. But when you take a stance and you say, well, essentially, I think that our religion is good, but the other religions should be banned. Well, what makes you the moral arbiter of religion? Realistically, this is a theological or a theocratic styled perspective to have. You're like the great value brand of ISIS without the violence. You're saying this should be the dominant religion in America. How does that make any sense? We are founded on Christian values. You're right. But of the 10 commandments, how many are law? This is a very slippery slope, and I'm not arguing against Christianity. I'm arguing, again, the freedom for everybody. And people can say, like, Scientology is not a religion. Neither is Jedi. But if that's what somebody believes in, or even if it's a dead religion, that's their religion. Is it up to man to dictate what can and cannot be a certified religion? Who makes that call? If I want to say I'm going to start my own religion, isn't that how all religions started? Christ came on the scene, and then you have Christianity, which replaced the laws of Moses. You have Islam. You have the Mormons, who John Smith, or whatever his name is, like, read a book in his hat in the ground. I don't know how that came. But again, man creates religion, or God inspires man to do whatever. You get where I'm going with this. So the point that I'm trying to make, though, with what Kirk is saying here is a very, very dangerous slope to go down. It's very, and then, this is easily quickly followed by a call to ban stuff. This is what it eventually turns into, is a call to ban things. And it's very dangerous. And people get hung up on the details of Kirk talking about Satanism in general. Well, it sounds good, but I disagree with it. Because again, what if it's not Satan? What if it's something else? Like, where does the line stop? It's either freedom for, it's the same argument as saying, I believe in the Second Amendment, but, like, no, there is no buts. It's the First Amendment or none.
I could see how it might make sense when our founding fathers had brought that up in the very beginning of the country. But I think as, we're a couple hundred years old now, that you can reform it to say, all right, all religions are inclusive, and just keep it out of government altogether.
Exactly.
Yeah. So
without government regulation, there is no religion.
Everything.
Yeah. If the government is, and this is what people don't seem to understand, in the calling for the separation of church and state, it's simply to say the government should have no ability to enforce or do away with any singular religion. They have no deciding factors in there, no play in that. Religion is of the people. It's let them do as they see fit without government interference. Because what if one day, and I've used this example before, what if one day our Congress is comprised mainly of, let's say, Muslims, and then they want to start passing Islamic state-styled law? Well, if they have the majority in Congress, and we say, like, we have a Muslim president, what's to stop them? What's to stop them if it was all Jews? What if it was stopping all Christians? Whatever the case may be. Again, the way to protect it is you remove it altogether. There should be none. Like, again, this still baffles me that people can sit there and say small government, yet church and state should be the same, therefore giving the government the ability to dictate in regards to what religion is or does or how it operates. I disagree with that. And again, people are going to take this and be like, oh my God, that's John, like, standing for Satanism. No, it's quite the opposite. It's standing for freedom. That's just the way it goes for me. So, but that's how people like, you may not get judgment here in the commandments, but you will in the end. Osiris, Noah, Moses, Jah all spoke of this. Again, but tell me what Jesus said in regards to render unto Caesar what is Caesar's, and my kingdom is not of this world. Like, y'all are so adamant about forcing Christianity on every single person out there, but then you basically belittle yourselves and you cut yourselves off at the nose or the ankles, whatever, because there goes the idea of predestination. You remove that off the table altogether. Now you're trying to force religion on people, and I can't agree with that. Like, here's what's screwed up about it. If Christians ever took up arms to force Christianity on the masses, I would fight against you. I would not participate in something like that. It's freedom for all. That's God-given. Like, the very same people that sit there and say, like, we should, Christianity should be this. So you're trying to force Christianity on people. Other religions have done that in the past, and there's a lot of blood on their hands. Have we not evolved outside of that mindset? You can worship as you see fit and live inside that bubble. As long as people don't try and violate your rights and you don't violate theirs, what's the beef? What's the problem here?
If you want somebody to be a Christian, be a good Christian. Show them why it's good to be a Christian.
Yeah. Like Block says, it's a Christian nation. You don't like it, get the fuck out of here. That's actually not true at all. Show me where it says anything about us being a Christian nation. Therefore, your statement invalidates the First Amendment. You don't even make sense. You just sound like another Bible thumper Christian conservative out there that says, you don't like it, get out of here. Show me where. Show me where any law dictates that Christianity is the official religion of America. You can't. You can't.
You got so many different cultures here.
Exactly. And then what form of Christianity? We going Catholic? We going Catholicism? We going non-denominational? We going Baptist? Which one are we going?
I'm a snake handler.
You're a snake handler?
Snake handler.
That's just funny to me how these same people are just going like, we're a Christian nation. No, we're not. We're not. We're just a nation that has the melting pot ideas of you can worship as you see fit. That's the way I see it. But, hey, you do what you want. But I just like the fact that if we weren't a Christian nation, what if eventually, we got overtaken by a different form of religion? They say, oh, well, hey, now it's a Jewish nation. If you don't like it, you can leave. Oh, then you'd be screaming for the separation of church and state. You see, it's you types of hypocrites that really annoy me because you don't know what you're talking about. You scream these buzzwords and these sayings because it sounds so good in 9-line and grunt style, printed on a shirt, and Graham Allen will scream it over the fucking thing. Stand for the flag roll, stomp your ass. But you don't seem to understand that what you're calling for, you're only calling for it because it suits you right now. But if it was the opposite, you'd be screaming for the freedom of religious persecution, freedom from persecution, because that's legitimately what it would be. Or we can just spare us all this headache and say, hey, you're free to do as you wish. Isn't that the premise behind America? Also, if this was a Christian nation, wouldn't there be laws dictating that to where if you violated Christian beliefs, you'd be, prosecuted for it? I mean, there's countries in existence to this day, many of which I visited, that are predominantly a specific religion. And if you violate those religious laws, you'll be stoned to death. You'll be murdered. Weird concept, right? I'm trying to teach y'all some stuff here, but you don't seem to understand. That's what I'm saying. Let the Muslims take over and you'll be singing a different tune, bud. It's like you're too fucking stupid to understand what I'm actually trying to tell you, bud. Don't call me bud. I'm not your fucking bud. I don't know who the fuck you think you are and who the fuck you think you're talking to. Christ almighty. You fucking try talking down to me, dude. I'll fucking get rid of you so goddamn quick. Fucking bud. Hate that shit. There's Charlie Kirk's statement. And this is why I'm a constitutionalist. I believe in the freedom for all. And that's not going to change anytime soon, But anytime you get involved with these people out there trying to push and force the religion on other people, oh, they get so upset. So that's crazy to me. That's just crazy to me. All right, moving on to the next article. Hillary Clinton reacts to Durham filing, says Trump, Fox News desperately spinning up a fake scandal. Of course, Hillary's going to take this. She's going to deflect in any way.
This lady is such a scumbag.
She is. That's disgusting. Former Secretary of State Hillary Clinton reacted to Special Counsel John Durham's latest filing, criticizing former President Trump and Fox News for desperately spinning up a fake scandal to distract from his real ones. This is going to blow up in her face because this guy is finding legit lawyers that have worked for her that are admitting to this. Yeah. And she's saying, oh no, this is Trump. Yeah. Because she knows how to manipulate the MSM.
She doesn't even have to manipulate the MSM.
No.
They're just another branch of the Democratic Party.
Oh yeah, 100%.
It's why you don't see who else is covering it.
It's hardly even in the press.
No,
it's hardly even in the press.
CNN covered it for 2 minutes a couple days ago.
It's sad to see this because nothing's going to happen to her.
This is probably the biggest scandal in American history.
It's not even being covered hardcore.
Not even.
I think I picked this one up from. This is from Fox News, and I know Breitbart has some stuff on this. CNN isn't going to touch it. CNN won't go. I actually looked at CNN earlier today. I couldn't find anything on there. Durham's filing alleged a tech exclusive -1, now identified as Rodney Jaffe, and his associates, including a lawyer for her presidential campaign, Michael Sussman, exploited internet. And again, these are her people that she paid that are admitting this. Mm-hmm. And she's saying, oh, no, this is just Trump trying to spin something up. What?
It's because her base, her mindless base will be like,
that's who she's pandering to.
She's right. She's right.
That's 100% who she's pandering to.
Go buy that book at Costco.
They're going to eat it up. They are going to eat it up. Trump and Fox are, this is what she tweeted out. When did she tweet this? This is February 16th, today. Trump and Fox are desperately spinning up a fake scandal to distract from his real ones. That's just deflection. So it's a day that ends in Y. The more his misdeeds are exposed, the more they lie. For those interested in reality, here's a good debunking of their latest nonsense. And it's an article coming from Vanity Fair.
Oh.
Wow. And, I mean, here's the thing. I can't even discredit Vanity Fair because Fox and CNN are literally no fucking different. But still, like, you're quoting a Vanity Fair article. Are you serious?
Vanity Fair.
Good Lord. Clinton's tweet comes days after Durham filed the motion, which focused on potential conflicts of interest related to the representation of former Clinton campaign lawyer Michael Sussman, who's been charged with making a false statement to a federal agent. Sussman has pleaded not guilty. The indictment against Sussman says he told the FBI General Counsel James Baker in September of 2016, less than 2 months before the 2016 presidential election, that he was not doing work for any client, which, when he requested and held a meeting in which he presented purported data and white papers that allegedly demonstrated a covert communications channel between the Trump Organization and Alpha Bank, which has ties to the Kremlin. But Durham's filing on February 11th in a section titled Factual Background reveals that Sussman had assembled and conveyed the allegations to the FBI on behalf of at least 2 specific clients, including a technology executive, executive one, at a U.S.-based internet company one, and the Clinton campaign. Durham's filing said Sussman's billing records reflect that he repeatedly billed the Clinton campaign for his work on the Russian Bank One allegations. So again, he said that he didn't work for anybody, but then they're tracking this dude through paperwork saying, yes, you did. Like, and you admitted to it. So you lied to an agent. You're going to get charged on that. And this is what Clintons do. They put like a lot of people between them and what's going on. They have a lot of middlemen. They're going to get charged, and they just basically say, oh, we had no idea this was going on. It's like, well, you paid this person. Like, oh, our accountant did, but we didn't authorize that. You can't prove that. That's all she's doing. This woman's ridiculous.
Yeah, we'll see.
Just the Clintons are scumbag garbage.
Like, I don't think they'll go to prison.
No. And that's what's sad. These people are just disgusting human beings. And even, this is another article from Breitbart, but this is quoting the, Trump really was spied on. WSJ slaps establishment media's coverage. Recent Durham court filings suggest Hillary Clinton's campaign associates spied on Donald Trump's campaign and protected White House communications, the Wall Street Journal declared Monday. After ignoring for 48 hours a tantalizing development and one of the largest political scandals in the past 10 years, the Journal's editorial board highlighted Durham's report, or his court disclosures, that indicate evidence of a scandal that requires investigation under oath. The Journal also slammed the establishment media for ignoring allegations that may prove Trump's alarm of foul play was actually correct. I'm just telling you right now, watch what news companies are not covering this and the ones that are. Watch the news companies. CNN is Clinton News Network at its core. That's who they are. They aren't going to go near this. They are so, like, CNN only covers something when it blows up in their face, kind of like how the Cuomo scandals. They didn't really touch it. Not hardcore. Until Chris Cuomo gets brought up on charges and all these accusations and shit. And then they kind of just tiptoe around it and they make a statement. And then even the dude who was stepped down because of the relationship with a coworker. And then apparently another CNN person has stepped down. I forget who it was. It's a woman. I don't know what she did. I didn't read it. It was just kind of like, oh, go figure. I mean, go figure. They're just nothing but freaking bad people in that organization.
Horrible.
Bad people in the organization. So, I mean, go figure. This is what they are. The editorial board cited Hillary's 2016 campaign effort to compile dirt on Donald Trump, which led to exploited data for a political purpose that began during a presidential campaign and continued into Trump's presidency. The alleged spying for political purpose involves former Clinton campaign lawyer. Oh, we already covered this, but he's basically just going into, every single person that was involved in giving the FBI fake data or fake intelligence should be spun up for treason. That's all of them.
Yeah.
And to include Schiff. That's all of them. Like, members of the FBI, it's ridiculous. Like, this stuff was never verified. And the reason it wasn't verified is because it was fabricated. It was a lie. So it's like, okay, so what's the source of your intelligence? Well, we don't have one. Like, so it's a lie then. You have no source. You made this up.
My Australian friend heard some guy talking at a bar.
My brother's cousin, sister's uncle that was drunk at a bar.
Let's tap him.
Exactly. That's where they got this information from.
We need to hear more.
It's ridiculous. Like, legitimately, this is treason. Because technically, I don't think it would be considered treason if Trump hadn't been president at the time. But once he was president, it's like, okay, now you're trying to undermine a sitting president by fabricating these things to turn the FBI against him. Which, and again, that's why when basically Trump was firing so many people and people were quitting, it's like, oh, Trump's losing support. It's like, no, Trump is getting rid of the people that are around him that are bad actors. That's all he's doing. And I would do the same. Like, say what you want about Trump. Yeah, I agree and disagree with some of the things he's did. But when he's firing people left and right, that's not indicative of basically his administration's going down in flames and saying, I'm going to replace these people from the Obama administration that are leftovers that I don't want in here, that are going to be loyal to Obama.
It's house cleaning.
It's house cleaning. It's the same in a business. Like when we had to let some people go, we had loyalists to them. We fire them too. You give them enough rope and eventually they hang themselves and you get rid of them. You've got to have people that are going to be on your side. And that's just the way it goes. Now, hopefully that side is on the side of the Constitution, but that's not always the case. And, even the FBI, like, ain't nothing's going to happen to them. Nothing's going to happen to them.
I just got to believe that this is probably going on for just decades, and it's just now been uncovered because it was such a...
Yeah. Well, with the emergence of social media, I think now a lot of things are going to be brought to light.
It was so blatant.
Yeah. Have been seen over time that, say, for example, like back in the early days before social media, if somebody uncovered something that was once thought of to be conspiracy theory or whatever, how are they going to get that word out?
Right.
If the newspapers didn't pick it up, if the press didn't pick it up, nobody's going to know. Well, now with social media, all it takes is one video from World Star Hip Hop to go viral, and you've got the word out. Which it's a good thing because it's going to incur more honesty.
Yeah.
But it's also going to bring about a lot of lies, though, unfortunately. So, I don't know. It's sad to see it that way. But we move on to Putin. I know if you watched the president's address to the nation yesterday, I watched it. It didn't go on very long. It really sounded like Biden was saying, like, we don't want to get involved with Russia, but if they do anything, we're going to have to. It was mindless drivel. I sat there and I listened to it while I was at work, and I was like, I'm not impressed with this. It certainly didn't strike fear into the heart of Putin or anything like that. But again, essentially what Putin is trying to do here is stage these troops on the border of the Ukraine, saying that, if you don't withdraw troops from Eastern Europe, it sounds like he's trying to restore Russia back to what it was prior to 91. It's just like, why now of all times? Like, why now? I mean, is it 1 year into the Biden administration? Like, I don't know. Maybe Putin was just watching to see how Biden would play out and then say, okay, yes, we see Biden, he act like bitch. We go ahead and invade Ukraine and make Russia great again. Russia great again is what we say.
Georgia needs more votes. Send the ballots. I want Ukraine.
I don't know. But this is coming to us from Fox. And look, I looked at CNN today and there was nothing on there. Like, I'll show you guys that are watching live on the Twitch channel right here. Like, look at CNN. There is nothing newsworthy on CNN. They've got why Olympic figure skaters don't get dizzy. Trump-backed Purdue struggles. Again, Trump is all they talk about. They won't go near Biden. It's all Trump, 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 Trump. Two of the men convicted killing Ahmaud Arbery used the racist slurs and messages. Oh my God. Okay. Well, they like, what are you trying to do here? Like, this is old news. They're convicted. They're in jail for life. Cool. Okay, cool. CNN investigates simply horrific merchant marine academy grapples with sexual assault at sea. London police to probe crash for, again, there is nothing newsworthy here.
Like zero.
Like, it's just garbage. I'm sitting there looking for anything interesting. But they're still talking about Ukraine and Russia doping, gold medals, cruise ships, California gas brand, whatever. Nothing about Biden in there, though. Interesting. This comes to us from Fox. It says, General Keane on Faulkner focus unprecedented information campaign has Putin on the defensive. General Jack Keane, Fox News strategic analyst, said the release of classified information regarding a potential Russian-led invasion into Ukraine has potentially opened the door for a diplomatic path forward. General Keane joined the Faulkner Focus to discuss the latest on the conflict, telling host Harris Faulkner the release of key information has put Putin's information campaign on the defensive. Jack Keane said the United States information campaign releasing classified information to gain dominance over Russia in terms of what they're doing and reveal their actions has largely put Russia on the defensive. Sullivan was up there saying that the conditions are set. They can attack at any time. Actually, there was a release from a German newspaper that the attack was supposed to come on Wednesday, but the release of this information, classified information, that has been going on for weeks, I think has put Putin's information campaign quite on a defensive. And I think it may have contributed to the opening of diplomatic path here. And it's going to be a set. Okay, wait. No. I don't think, I don't see that at all. Because Putin's got, last I checked, was 130,000 troops amassed on that border. You can say what he's going to do, but Ukraine is going to get mowed over. And I hate to say that. And I'm not trying to talk shit about them. And Godspeed if it does happen. But you could tell them where they're going. You can say, hey, you know, there's an invasion force about to hit Kyiv, or whatever the case may be. Well, if you're outgunned, no matter what you tell people is going to happen, it's going to happen. It's kind of like saying, hey, this bully's going to walk up and hit you at 3 o'clock today. It's like, okay, well, now I know what he's going to do, so now I'm going to put him on the defensive. It's like, no, you're not. If you're there at 3 o'clock, he's going to cold cock the shit out of you. You're not going to stop it. Unless you just go away, and you can't do that. I don't think that's it. This doesn't make sense to me. I just don't see, yeah. I don't see that as a means of putting Putin on the defensive. I just don't. We'll see how it plays out, though. We're watching. So, exclusive footage. This, again, we've been covering this before, and this is why parents really need to be involved in what their children are learning at school, like questioning your children when they come home. What did you learn in school today? Picking their brains, asking to see the course curriculum, things such as this. Exclusive footage. Private schools nationwide pushing queer inclusive curriculum, trans ideology starting in pre-K. Pre-K. Your tax dollars are going to fund this, ladies and gentlemen. Private schools across the country are training teachers to expose kids as young as 4 years old to sexually explicit content in secrecy and without parents' knowledge. Directed by the National Association Independent Schools, NAIS, as part of a queer inclusive curriculum. You are going to create so many enemies against the LGBT if you continue down this road. You already have. You're turning people against the LGBT left and right. Keep it up. Keep it up. You are going to make them a very, very discriminated group of people because of this shit right here. This stuff right here is ridiculous. Breitbart News has received an extensive trove of NIS documents and teachers training supplied to private schools nationwide, which, under the guise of being queer and LGBT inclusive, urge the use of graphic sexual material in classes starting at pre-K. What the hell? Whatever happened to just going to school and learning the basics of, you know, your core classes? Home economics, carpentry shop, welding shop. You're learning your math, your history, all this stuff. Now this shit's being pushed on the people. It's ridiculous. They're trying to indoctrinate the youth by these liberal teachers. What the hell? Dude, this is nuts.
These people are crazy.
I thought this was public, so apparently it's private. But even still.
Like
private people that are paying for this, like I don't think they know what's going on.
But that's what it says. It says they're doing it in private.
Yeah.
I mean, like, so they're not telling the parents what they're doing.
They're trying to do it under the table, yep. A nearly hour-long training workshop at NIS flagship conference in 2020, reviewed by Breitbart News, features a discussion about how to talk to kids about gender and sexuality and identity. Our nation has gone off the rails of common sense. Like, these people are mentally deranged, and it's all from social media. Social media has allowed this to progress in such a manner that there's various different genders out. This is insanity.
Yeah.
This is insanity.
Total madness.
This is ridiculous. This is propaganda 101, and it's in our school systems. Parents, you've got to get involved in this, and you've got to stand against this.
Yep.
You have to go there. You've got to protest, and if they refuse, then you better figure out a way to rip them out of there. This is our children. The newest generation, this is how they change stuff. They look at the Gen Z generation. The insanity that has gripped them. I posted a video on my Instagram yesterday of this TikTok woman. And of course, you just take, for example, I posted a video of this TikTok person. And she goes on to talk about, like, if you're happy and you know it, clap your, or she said, if you're gender something, clap your hands. And she goes on this 1 minute tirade of if you're gender inclusive, but you don't know what you are, blah, 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 blah. And she just continues going on. Well, on TikTok, you can do what's called a duet. You can take the video you're watching and you can make your own video with it. So it's like a duet video or a reactionary video. And I was just interested. I just wanted to see.
Curious.
I was curious to see if my suspicions were going to be correct. And I went on this woman's TikTok, or this thing's TikTok. I don't know what the fuck it is. And of course, she's ugly. Hair is weird color. And I clicked on the spinning circle at the bottom right. It's the record of the music. It's the audio of the video. So I clicked on it, and you can see who all has duetted the video. Every single duet is from a hideous, ugly-looking woman or gay dude. Unfuckable, young as hell, hair different colors, piercings all over the face. Again, attention-eating whores. That's all this is. Little attention whores, spotlight rangers.
In their parents' basement.
Kids that probably don't even pay taxes yet. And every single one of them just clapping their hands. If you're gender unconfused and you know it, clap your hands.
You're so brave.
If you belong in a fucking mental asylum to get your shit straight is what you should be doing. Clap your hands for that. Like, good Lord. America has it so good now that we have to make up problems because we're just not satisfied. We're just not satisfied. You know, my life sucks. I'm going to start a new gender. Take these people and put them in Ukraine and see how bad their lives are.
It's probably my gender that's holding me back.
Yeah. Ultimately, I think at the core root is basically them wanting to be victims.
Talk that wiener back.
It's ridiculous.
People will finally understand me.
It's ridiculous. Starting in pre-K, we talk about their bodies, the parts that they were born with, about penises and vaginas, and whether they make somebody a boy or a girl, but also their feelings. What do they feel like inside? And there's the damn feelings. Your damn feelings are what gets y'all in trouble.
You want to know?
Your damn feelings.
When my kids started school, when they were getting ready to go into kindergarten and all that stuff, we went over to the school, we talked to the teachers, toured it and everything. And what really sealed the deal for us to send them to private school was all they talked about was like this circle time and feelings and all this other. I'm like, well, do you do any reading or numbers or stuff like that?
It's like everybody wants to be a goddamn therapist.
Is there a curriculum?
Yeah. What is
She's
this?
like, what do you mean? I'm like,
do they learn anything?
Like, okay.
You kind of look at the teacher and what would you say you actually do here?
What would you say you do? But I mean, we obviously made the right decision because now our son, who's in second grade, is reading at like almost fifth grade level. You know, our daughter is doing really well. It's
almost like government funded anything is just shit.
It's pure shit.
Yeah.
I mean, we had to make some cutbacks and stuff like that to make it affordable for us to be able to do that. But I mean, I couldn't imagine sending my kids to a public school where they're just like going behind parents' backs.
Yeah. Oh, dude, that's grounds for like finding that teacher.
Oh my God, you have to learn to talk without your teeth.
Mm-hmm.
If you're going to start to talk to my kids about
sexuality. Showing my children that are like 5 or 6 years old pictures of penises and vaginas, you're getting your ass whooped.
Oh my God.
And if it's a woman, my girlfriend or my wife at the time will whoop your ass for me. It's like, absolutely not. You know better. That's grooming. Like that comes into the realm of grooming. Like get the fuck. They are children. They are kids. Let them be kids. Don't force this political bullshit on them. But this is what the left does. This is what the left does. These are why liberals are so far just demented, morally reprehensible, just disgusting human beings. It was my first year, so I was like, okay, we're just super progressive. So I went in there, guns blazing, and I just went for it. And I ended up talking about the vulva and the labia with pre-Kers. And it was just one of those moments, everybody's looking in horror, and I'm like, oh no, I made a really big mistake. And I share that with you because it's not perfect, right? It's a practice. So be kind to yourself when you're delving into this stuff, the teacher told her fellow NAIS educators in the flagship conference. You were talking to children about a labia. What the hell is wrong with you?
Not even her children.
Not even her children. Exactly.
If that's what you want to do with your kids, I don't agree with it, but
it's disgusting. Well, here's the thing.
Keep that shit to yourself.
Exactly. Like you're the parent. It just makes you a shitty parent if you want to engage in something at that age.
I know, you psychopath.
But a teacher, that's not a teacher's responsibility. It's really not. 7-year-old children in grade 2, the educator leading the lecture explains, ought to be taught about gender identity in terms of your head and your heart and your body parts matching up and what happens if it doesn't. Yes, you should be on medication. She later goes on to detail what ought to be taught in grade 5, explaining that students who are 10 should be educated on internal and external genitalia, hormones, and chromosomes, something you can only change with a whole lot of effort, along with gender identity. I like how she even says that you can be changed. Therefore, there's something wrong. It's not normal. These people are so unhinged. It's just mind-boggling to me. And then you see pictures. If you're watching on Twitch, you see it live on the screen here. The gender unicorn. Like, this is just disgusting. Like, this just has pedophilia written all over it. This is disgusting to me. Like, oh, my God.
I know, man. Those poor kids.
I honestly cannot imagine having children in grade school and having to deal with something like this. Can you imagine being a parent and your child brought home something like this? I'd be outraged.
Oh my God. It'd be beyond outrage.
Whew. I want to talk about some ways that you can set learning about sexuality in motion. In preschool, and here's the thing, if people want to raise their children to be a specific way, as parents should be allowed to do or can do, that's their prerogative. Like, that's their right to do so. It's just disgusting whether you be left, center, or right, and you try and push your political viewpoints on your children at that young age. It's disgusting. Let them be kids. Like, don't steal their childhood from them. Don't usher them into this world of insanity at a very young. Let them be kids before they have to grow up and realize that this world is fucked. Oh my God. I want to talk about some ways that you can set learning about sexuality in motion in preschool. And all we really have to do is think about this topic in the way we think about all other topics. No, we don't. I'm sorry, but I'm not going to think about discussing sexuality and sex and genitalia in the same way I'm going to think about Common Core math class. Okay? No. You can't normalize. This is what they want to do. That statement right there says they want to normalize this. It's the same as like gym class. No, it's not. No, it's not. Because last I checked, you can't get somebody pregnant by doing math. You can't have underage sex by doing math. This is insanity. We don't start in the 4th or 5th grade with a complex subject. One NAIS video called Getting Ready to Get Ready, How to Implement PK5 Sexuality Curriculum. Dude, the government has no business teaching your children about sexuality. It can be fall under science, and you learn the reproductive system and what it's for and what it does, and you leave it the fuck alone. This is not hard to deal with. This is not hard to deal with, ladies and gentlemen. All it is you teach the basic functions of what the body does, and you leave it alone. Anything outside of that, that's up to the parents. Let the parents decide. You force this stuff on children of parents that don't want this. Like, you get your ass whooped, you get pistol whipped. Hey, you had it coming. You had it coming. You don't fuck with the children. You don't. You saw what happened in Georgia. You saw what happened anytime they try going after the children. You are going to lose, Democrats. And here's the thing. And this sounds really fucked up to say. I hope this takes off. Because this right here is going to seal in a blue loss hardcore across the board. This needs to go viral. This needs to be out there to show more and more of what leftist indoctrination is comprised of. And then even the fringe Democrats are going to look at this and say, oh, God, no, I want nothing to do with this. Like the Democratic Party, like, ladies and gentlemen, if we look at the DNC for the last 10 years, look how much it's de-evolved with this progressive mindset. The inclusivity has gone off the realms of sanity into insanity. Insanity.
Total insanity.
They're setting it up right now to where they're on the cusp. They're on the cusp of trying to normalize pedophilia. It's coming. It is coming.
Do you think Biden's new pick for the Department of Energy?
I saw that. You see this freak? Here's the thing, like, dude, I think that everybody is entitled to their right to do what they want to do behind closed doors and stuff like that. When you sit there and you're tapping somebody to be on your administration and they call Fauci daddy, this guy is just flamingly gay. Because here's the thing, if people want to have like an argument of like what it means to be gay, well, talking like this all the time, that doesn't make you gay. That's just a weird characteristic that you're trying to embrace to draw attention. I know plenty of gay people that act that you wouldn't know they're gay because they act just like normal people. They just happen to love men or they happen to love women. This stuff right here, the talking like that is the gay. What are you doing? You're just trying to be different and special. That's all that is. That has nothing to do with homosexuality. But this dude is full on. He wears the gimp suits. Like, it's disgusting what this dude publicly puts out there. And this is I'm not saying he shouldn't have that right. He should. But this is the person that you want to tap to be in your federal administration. Are you fucking kidding me? What the fuck? I mean, have some kind of sense of like decency. I don't know. What you want to do behind closed doors is what you want to do. I don't give a shit. Like, I'm not against that. Like, please don't take me as saying like this guy shouldn't be. It's just that you are serving under an administration. Maybe have some, I don't know, decorum, maybe. I don't know.
I don't know.
This is nuts to me.
I mean, maybe he's maybe he'll be great at his job or whatever.
How the hell are you saying that with a straight face?
I don't know.
He calls him Daddy Fauci. This guy's a freak. He's a fucking idiot.
I was just reading this article, and it's pretty funny because it says
I saw
it seems the Biden administration made history last month. So that's when Sam Brinton announced that the administration had hired them as Deputy Assistant Secretary of Spent Fuel and Waste. Just using his pronouns it's so comical. Them, there. Like, okay. His year-long career in nuclear waste management, climate change, LGBTQ activism, and youth mentorship.
Yep, there we go. Those are his qualifications there. As soon as Biden heard
that
LGBT activist, he's like, there it is. That's my guy. That's my guy.
That kind of concerns me.
That's the gay I want. Tap the gay.
Is the youth management. Now,
is there any way we can turn him black?
No, there's...
That's what he's going to... He's gay. Can we make him black somehow?
Get Trudeau on the phone. He's good. He's got the paints.
Give him this paint and tell him to paint his face black.
He's got the body paints.
We can't touch him at that point. Stupid son of a bitch. We got one of the gays on our side. Let's make him black and we'll have one of them too. Hey, it's intersectional. The Republicans can't say anything, you know? Hey, don't talk about my black gay guy here. You're a racist bigot is what you are.
I mean...
Ugh.
It's... Okay,
I got to move away from this article. This just disgusts me. This disgusts me.
Yeah, it's just that last part that kind of concerns. And then there was the rumors that he, has sex with animals, which I don't even think is legal.
No, it's not. But that would.
I don't know if it's true or not.
That opens the door,
swirling
though.
But
that opens the door to where if we are condoning same-sex marriage, which again, it's your right to do that. But when we go down these realms of immorality, in a sense of you can be whatever gender you want, you can love whoever you want, you should be able to marry whatever you want. When do we start getting into people want to have sex with animals and marry animals? When does that hit? Because it's coming.
Did that happen already?
It's
I thought
coming.
Somebody married a dog or a broomstick or something recently.
I wouldn't be surprised.
I know things are. It's like,
but it's going to come. It'll be recognized by the government. Because where does the insanity stop?
Do you, John, take this broomstick?
It smells like Hillary. I wonder why. She was riding on it. Oh my God. It's just nuts to me that people would even. Yeah, it's coming though. And the only thing that's going to take it back, honestly, I feel is going to be violence. I really do. Because these people, that's all they'll ever understand is violence. I really feel like that's going to be the turning point.
Or if the silent majority just isn't silent anymore, which I think we're seeing more and more of.
More and more people are coming out.
I mean, you see these truck rallies, even like up in Canada, they're forming one here.
Social media and the MSM have given us this perspective as if these gender fluid weirdos are the majority, and they're not. They're just predominantly there on social media, but in reality, in this world out here, they're not. They're not the majority.
No, they're not. It's like the Wizard of Oz, where here you think the Oz is this big, huge god, and you pull back the curtain, and it's this little old man that looks like Joe Biden
with a septum ring and blue hair that's fat and out of shape, like talking about if you're happy and genderqueer, clap your hands, you're weirdo. Okay. But, ultimately, because, the right is predominantly against this kind of crap, it's that when you have the more moderate Democrats starting to shift, which they are, then you're going to really see that the DNC is hemorrhaging hardcore, and it really is. But next up, we have Trudeau. Good old Trudeau has enacted, essentially, his ability to be a dictator.
He got heckled hardcore, too.
Oh, yeah, he did. His government's turning against him. Report, extremists threatened to throw bricks at cafe owner ID. Well, let me get to this one next. Where's it at? Trudeau. Okay, so Trudeau is basically enacting an emergency act that gives the federal government and himself the power to give police more armaments and things like that to deal with the truckers. Now, the truckers have actually released a statement. I haven't watched it all the way through. It's 8 minutes long. But Trudeau is starting to step up as a dictator. And even Parliament is coming out against him, saying, what are you doing? This is not a dictatorship. This has gone off the road. And Trudeau, also, for those that don't know, Trudeau has not even met. He's not even met to the trucker representatives. He won't even talk to them. Imagine that. You won't even talk to the people, and you say, it's time to go home. And for those that don't know, Trudeau has now authorized the government to tap into private businesses and banks and go after money. And mark my words, they're going to be labeled domestic terrorists, and anyone funding them is going to get brought up on charges. Now he's basically saying that banks can freeze bank accounts, secure assets of anyone funding these people. I think the police arrested a few people that had guns, body armors, rifles. I saw an article about that.
What about the what was the FundMe site that they were raising money? Somebody hacked it and put up all the donors up on Twitter.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yep. It was some hacker dude, another little freak. Somebody's going to put a bullet in this kid's head. He's apparently the founder of Anonymous or something like that. He goes on TikTok and he uses his name, and apparently he's also an FBI informant. I don't know. It could be a freaking false flag. I'm not sure, but people like that.
Put it on Twitter.
Here's the
the
thing:
same platform that said that they don't post hacked material.
Or
that's why they
people,
dumped. Was it the New York Post when they posted the Hunter Biden stuff?
Yeah. Well, here's the thing: if you donate to the truckers, like doxing is wrong. Don't get me wrong, but it's like, what are you afraid of?
Yeah.
Like, what are you afraid of? Like, it was like, oh my God, you donated to the truck. Okay, so
be proud of that shit. Wear a T-shirt.
It's crazy to me. But if here's the thing, like Canadians have to ask themselves with this trucker convoy thing. It's like, if Trudeau does not want to meet with you, he's not going to respect your demands or things like that. At what point are you going to say this is the line, and if they cross it, what's left besides violence?
You jump in the trucks and start. How far can you drive them?
Mm-hmm.
Right up onto the lawn.
I hope it doesn't come down to that. But the way Trudeau is going, this guy, and he even tweeted something out back in 2011 or 2012 talking about, like, if a government won't listen to the grievances of the people or something like that. He's a complete hypocrite.
Oh.
He's a complete hypocrite. Like, if they drug this dude out and they hung him, I'd be clapping. Like, he's a tyrant. This guy is a tyrant.
He's a total Chinese puppet.
He is.
What he said?
He did that speech I listened to. He talked about how he respected China's dictatorship because they essentially are taking an approach where he's forcing people to go green at a faster rate. It's like, what? Oh, yeah, he said it.
I know.
I watched the clip. I'm like, what the fuck?
China's going green at a fast pace?
They said they have the ability to make these calls for the betterment of humankind. I'm paraphrasing here. Trudeau legitimately said this.
He's not afraid to use child labor.
Yeah, exactly. Hey, you can cut down on your carbon footprint by, employing children that don't drive. So there you go.
You just keep them here in the factory. They never leave.
Just sleep in beds in the factory. We feed them a little bit of rice here and there.
Here's some Nikes.
Yeah, exactly.
Here you go,
then
LeBron.
Colin Kaepernick can promote them. LeBron James can cry on the court while he's wearing them. Absolutely.
There you go. Thanks, guys.
My God.
There you go.
It's nuts to me. Oh, my God. It's disgusting. I can't believe anybody would support this. But the news comes from Newsweek. Canadian towing company to ignore Trudeau order to disrupt trucker protests. This came 54 minutes ago. Here's the thing. Like, it's going to come down to the military and the cops. I said this before. It's going to depend on what the military and the cops are going to do and which side they stand on. If the cops refuse to enforce this, Trudeau is at a stalemate. He's got nothing. It comes down to the people who have the guns. That's all it comes down to. I mean, here's the thing. Imagine this, if you will. Imagine if Trudeau says, okay, you know what? We're going to forcibly remove them. And every single trucker was armed with body armor, whatever. And they stood in unison and said, if you're going to do this, you better fire the first shot because this is what it is now. They will back down. They will back down. You outnumber them. The people outnumber the government. And also, this is why the Second Amendment exists. To where if those dudes and the FBI vans roll up with MP5s full auto, you've got civilians that got the same fucking thing. But no, they try and ban that in certain states. That's their whole purpose behind the Second Amendment. A towing company CEO plans to ignore Canadian Prime Minister Justin Trudeau's order for towing companies to disrupt truckers protesting vaccine mandates. Trudeau, who invoked emergency powers for the first time in 50 years, has faced a fierce backlash over his directives, which include towing companies forcing their employees to remove truckers' rigs or face loss of federal contracts and other penalties. You've got to unite, Canada. You've got to unite. Don't be afraid of this, because once Trudeau is gone, once this gets lifted, you've won, and none of this gets enforced. If you don't unite, if you separate, and you singularly fall, the whole thing falls with it. You've got to become one. United we stand, divided we fall. Unite. So far, there is little evidence that towing companies are complying with Trudeau's orders. In an interview with Newsweek, Ibrahim Masir, CEO of Alliance Towing in Ottawa, Canada, said the government has put small businesses in a terrible position. He described it as a damned if you do, damned if you don't spot. It's a position that no small business wants to be in, and we're here because of the government. Again, this is the government's fault. You can't blame the truckers on this one. The government is causing this. Mm-hmm. This started out with 50,000 protesters. It's grown exponentially. The people are over this. They don't want this. And Trudeau is not listening. This is how stupid this is. He says that they have to follow the science. The science has changed. It's proven everything that you said wrong. So follow the science, lift the restrictions, and give the people what they want.
Yeah, there's studies coming out now that are showing that wearing a mask long term.
Yeah, it's bad for you.
Bad for your lungs. You know, the types of cops you have to watch out for are people like Eric Adams.
Oh, God.
Those are the types of law enforcement people you have to be worried
Liberal
about.
with a badge is dangerous.
Yep.
Masir went on to mention that the present situation with the trucker protest is a government-created problem, and it's an issue that Canada and the military should be tasked with fixing. However, he did mention that his stance was not to be was to be interpreted as being for or against the truckers' protest. A first-generation immigrant, Masir said he is just looking to run his small business to make a living for himself and his employees. He said, I started this business from the ground up. I'm just looking for the opportunity to create jobs. No one is talking about or any longer the unnecessary stress the lockdown restrictions have placed on businesses. 66% of Canadians support removing all the mandates. That's the majority. And Trudeau's not listening. Additionally, Masir said the safety issues involved with removing the trucks are too much, as such, he would just prefer not to get involved. My employees are not trained to work in that kind of an environment. The liability issues associated with that situation are just too great. Masir also cited the stress the restrictions have placed upon the mental health of individuals and relationships. On Wednesday, police in Ottawa provided the truckers with a leaflet warning them to leave the area immediately or face the possibility of arrest. 33 people at this time have been arrested in connection to the protest. The CEO of Alliance Towing's refusal to adhere to Trudeau's order is similar to the stance of other companies before the order was put in place. Earlier this month, Ottawa City Manager Steve Kanalakas said he was having trouble getting companies to remove the trucks participating in the protest, according to Business Insider. I've contacted them all, and they're all refusing, as of today, to provide heavy tow truck work. On February 5th, Jim Watson, the mayor of Ottawa, declared a state of emergency, saying the situation had gotten out of control. At that point, the truckers' protest had reached 10 days. Police in the Canadian city also said that anyone who was found to be assisting the truckers with their protest was subject to arrest. Newsweek also reached out to several other towing companies in Ottawa. Ottawa Metro Towing and Recovery, Gervais Towing and Recovery, and Abrams Towing all responded with no comment. One of the business could not be reached for a response.
Yeah, what happens if just people who aren't truck drivers go there, bring their cars, and park right next to them?
Yep.
Then what?
You got nothing.
You got 66% of the people who...
got nothing. America, it's coming.
Yeah.
It's coming to America. And you watch what's going to happen. Biden is going to utilize federal powers. It's going to get bad. It's going to get bad. Death to all tyrants. The mandate, like the narrative has changed. We're tired of the pandemic. We want out of it. End it. Open the country. Remove the mandates. Especially for the children. Report, extremists threaten to throw bricks at cafe owner ID'd in alleged Freedom Convoy hack. At least one Canadian businesswoman claimed on Tuesday to have received threats after appearing on a list of alleged donors to Freedom Convoy protesters hacked from the site Give, Send, Go and shared with media. Tammy Giuliani, owner of a Stellar Luna Gelato Cafe, said she'd been forced to close the doors of her Ottawa business due to threats from extremists after her name appeared on the list. The Freedom Convoy is a protest movement calling for an end to all civil rights violations imposed by Canadian... Blah, blah, blah. We got a call from the team saying, we're getting phone calls here, Giuliani told the Ottawa Citizens newspaper and added, I said, what's going on? And they said, they're threatening to throw bricks through our window. They're threatening to come and get us. We said, lock the door and we'll find out what's going on. No, you arm yourself, and anyone that picks up a brick to come after you, pop them in the fucking head. Don't be afraid. Like, if people told us the same thing here at Shelter, we're coming to get you. Come on. You better bring some ammo because you're going to fucking need it. Bring a lunch. You're going to be here for a while. Bring some first aid equipment because, I mean, the Republican Guard couldn't take me out. The Taliban can't. Some little freaking deranged little lunatic with some purple hair. You think you're going to do it? Do it and see what happens. You'd be laying there in a pool of your own blood crying as I'm standing over you laughing. So that's what you get for being a fucktard. These people don't seem to understand when you make these threats and you pick up that brick, you've entered into a whole different zone you know nothing about. And you're going to get killed. And you know what? Maybe that's what this world needs now, is a lot of these fucking blue-haired little freaks of nature to get involved in that spectrum to where these keyboards don't protect you. You're going to get some bullets put in you. And it's going to be funny as fuck for me to watch that. I'm going to laugh. I don't give a fuck about your humanity. You want to infringe on the rights of other people? You're a tyrant. I don't give a fuck if you call yourself an American. You're a tyrant, and you're supporting of that. You got to choose this day which side you stand on. This is tyranny. Far-left Canadian Prime Minister Justin Trudeau, under fire for his poor handling of his country's anti-mandate protests, praised China's dictatorship in a resurfaced video from 2013. This is who this guy is. This is who he is. This guy praises China's dictatorship, saying that, at least one guy in charge is taking him in the right direction. What? What?
Look, Xi Jinping he's not that bad of a guy.
Forget the gulag, forget the genocide, but at least this guy's pushing for green. What? Oh my God. Others like Vicky Dutton and her husband are also concerned about possible reprisals after their names appeared in the list of nearly 93,000 people, which allegedly included personal information such as emails and postal codes. Okay, the dude that doxed them, why is nobody taking this piece of shit out? It's simple. Find them and take them out. Make doxing people afraid. If your information gets exposed, maybe there should be an underground organization that comes to get you and you just kind of disappear. You want to go that route, that's fine.
That's how the mob did it.
Mm-hmm. We're not ashamed of the donations, but what we're worried about is being targeted by people who find hate in this. And I don't think there should be hate in a peaceful movement. And that's what the MSM is trying to do.
Yeah.
That's exactly what they're trying to do. The MSM is trying to paint this organization or this movement as a violent protest. You've seen the videos. You've seen what's going on out there. These people are not violent. And the truckers' response today, a little bit of I heard of it, was they were being nice. They're doing it right now. They're saying, hey, we're asking you. We're pleading with you. But it's don't get it twisted. They're being nice about it. But if you push these people, I think you are going to have violence. I think you will. Because here's the thing. If it's the BLM, it's okay. If it's black people, oh no, it's mostly peaceful. Truckers haven't done anything. They're out there cleaning up trash, removing graffiti from statues that paid actors are coming in to do. But they're the terrorists? This is how fucked up this world is right now. And this is why the black people in America, you're a protected class. Black fragility is real. And Alec Baldwin killed a guy. All right. Texas AG Ken Paxton sues Biden administration over federal mask mandate for airports and airplanes. Texas Attorney General Ken Paxton on Wednesday filed a lawsuit against President Joe Biden's administration over federal rules that mandate mask wearing in American airports and on airplanes. The CDC mandate was unlawfully issued. Why are you doing this now?
Ken.
Yeah, Ken. And Ken was all, and I'm no fan of Ken Paxton because he was pushing for the ban of Delta 8 in Texas. Fuck this guy.
Yeah.
What are you doing? Everybody's oh yeah, sue. It was what took you so long?
Lost my vote.
Why didn't you do it under Trump?
What'd you stand by?
Where were you? It's too late now.
Thousands of businesses, small businesses were shut down.
Exactly. You said nothing.
And deemed non-essential.
I'm sorry, but it's too little too late, Paxton. You had your chance and you were nowhere to be found. You didn't have the balls to stand up. Watch for these fake people. Watch for these fake purveyors of truth to now come out when the tides are turning and the narrative's changing. Now they want to step up and be heroes. No. When the time called for it, you were silent. You didn't say a fucking word, dude.
That's what these scumbag politicians do every election cycle.
Yeah. I've even seen Crenshaw kind of do it. Crenshaw was kind of I remember I had him on the show the first time. I was like, what do you feel about people being forced in the military to get the vaccine? He's like, if I was them, I'd just take it. And then he shifts and he changes. It's dude, come on. You're changing your story now.
No, I mean, if you're for the people, you got to be for the people.
Exactly.
You got to be for your neighbors. Mm-hmm. All right. These are my constituents. This is their livelihood. This is how the economy goes. This is how they put food on their table. This is how they take care of their family.
That's disgusting.
Not everybody has a farm.
Nope. All right. Well, that does it for today's episode of the All American Savage Show podcast. It's almost closing time. All right. So we said we're going to pick a winner over on Twitch, a subscriber that's been watching. And we appreciate your love and support over there on Twitch. So if you're a subscriber on Twitch, I'm going to pick a random one here, and you're actually going to win this tankard that we're actually holding up. We'll do the blue one today, but we're going to end the podcast. I'm going to end the recording, but we'll keep going. But if you're a subscriber on Twitch, you still have time to subscribe, and you'll be entered to win the thing. Actually, you know what? I used to have Nightbot do it, but I'll just pick a random one. You can still subscribe, but let me go ahead and end the stream. I appreciate y'all's love and support. Don't go anywhere, Twitch. We'll be right back. We'll go ahead and close it out. Again, you can follow us at allamericansavageshow.com. Check out, sign up for the email list, support us on shellshockcbd.com. Don't go anywhere, though, because we got something big coming up for you here with the giveaway over on Twitch. We appreciate you. We love you. We'll be live tomorrow morning at 11 a.m. CST, roughly around about that time for the next episode. Until then, you anything to add, my man?
Oh, thanks for listening.
You stay savage, America.